the beauty of where we are now, where we sit now when it comes to mental health, is the church and the mental health community professionals have been talking and have been having conversations now for 20 or 30 years. We have Dobson, we have Townsend and Cloud, we have these people that have been writing on these subjects and integrating biblical principles for 20 or 30 years. So we can work hand in hand. The church can work hand in hand with therapists. There's plenty of therapists who are hungry to connect with local churches, and it can be a mutually beneficial relationship where we can help and advise and talk about it from a mental health perspective. And there's conversations about what the Bible says about struggles like grief and lament and depression and anxiety.
The church is not without access to resources, which was maybe not the case decades ago. But because there is access now, it's just a matter of the church actually being active in getting those resources in the church.
When we think about the church, I always think of the mental health needing, we kind of need to triage the different issues. There's crisis, there's relationship crises that people go through, and it's really common for the church to kind of know what to do, but not really. And so there's ways that we can come in and educate and help you kind of build a system to know when someone may need outside help, or when it's more of an issue of needing to educate the church community on healthy relationships.
This might be a curveball, I think, to a lot of folks in the church regarding how to help those struggling with mental health, and that is a lot of times the congregation follows the lead of the pastor. And so if the pastor himself is uncomfortable talking about mental health, whether it's for strictly theological reasons or he just doesn't know anything about mental health, that's a problem. If they themselves get well-versed and practiced in monitoring their own mental and relational and emotional health, and they talk about that with the congregation, wow. I mean, talk about creating a safe space within the church to talk about mental health. Because now the pastor and the leadership has spearheaded that conversation.
And it demystifies it.
It totally, back to what you said about demystifying. So I feel like that needs to be one thing that leadership really starts to pray about.
I agree. And I mean, we model that, I think, in the therapist community, because I tell clients very often that all therapists have therapists. It's required as part of our training, and it's something that we do ongoing, because I really believe that talking to someone who holds my secrets and doesn't tell anybody what I say helps me to be the most vulnerable person, and helps me to work out the underlying feelings that I have that I feel like no one else can really understand. And that's really a foundational part of going to therapy.